It's a new week in the Crew Motorfest, and so we have a new summit. It's the HOONIGAN Golden Oldies Summit Guide. Let's go! All right, real quick before we get into it, quick shout out to Simgii. Thank you so much for the help on this one. He definitely helped with the lines and the cuts and the gutters. He definitely showed me exactly where to go on a lot of these races, so appreciate it. Go check out his channel. He's got insane driving. You can watch his full runs. He's probably already got them posted by the time this video goes live. The link is in the description down below. All right, let's get into it. The cars that you're going to need first. The Summit Bundle is the EB110 with the Countach. I believe it costs somewhere around $2 million, but you're going to need this because you'll be using both of these cars throughout the summit. Additional vehicles that I recommend are the EB110 Anodized Edition, and you can use this in replacement of the EB110 regular edition. You can buy that Anodized Edition in TC2, in the Crew 2. You just go in there, purchase it if you have the money in that game. If you don't, just use the regular EB110. I'll give you pro settings for both. The F8 Spider is also recommended for the Escape, but you can also use the Agera R or the Cento Dieci. All three of those cars would do very well for this Escape. For me, I was more comfortable with the F8. Also, you need a plane. For this one, it's definitely recommended to use the P-51 Mustang. It's the fastest plane in the game, and you're going to be using it on both the Escape and the low altitude. I strongly recommend having the skilled affix at least on all your parts, and hopefully you have all gold parts. They don't have to be matching, but definitely get skilled on all 7 of your parts, but obviously score breaker is recommended. You also need the F40 and a slalom vehicle of your choice. I'm using the RB14 Disruption Edition. Definitely AGP is the recommended vehicle type, but use whatever vehicle you have score breaker. If you don't have score breaker, it's going to be tough to get a good score on this slalom. All right, the keys to the summit are going to be shortcuts, legendary parts, and slipstream. And the reason I'm saying slipstream, although you're not going to see much in these clips, all of these races require a ton of consistency over a long duration of time. They're all pretty long races or events, and so it really does help to have a partner. If you don't, it's okay. I did the majority of these without. I think I only slipstreamed on one event, and I didn't even get a clean run with that slipstream. I think I can go back and do it solo and actually get a faster time. Anyways, slipstream is definitely a way that you can increase your times if both of you are of the similar skill level. Here are the pro settings for all the vehicles I just mentioned. All right, the first event is called Windward Coast, and for this one, you're using the loaned Camaro. At 2%, stay to the right at the start, then cut to the right after this wall ends. At 15%, you'll go straight across the beach. At 22%, you can cut the beach again. Just make sure you have lots of speed for this one because it's kind of close as to whether or not this cut is actually shorter or not. To me, it was just easier to go across the beach. It was just more consistent for my runs. At 48%, you can cut the corners before and after the bridge. And finally, at 88%, it's faster to gutter this turn than to reset it in case you were wondering. All right, the next event is called KAHANA Bay, and for this one, you're using the EB110 or the anodized version. At 91% is the only cut on this race. You can cut across the grass, go through the trees, and reset when you hit the checkpoint. The next event is called HALEIWA Town. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Again, you're going to be using the EB110 or the anodized version of it. At 12%, you can cut to the right after this wall and get some air nos. At 18%, you can cut very far inside this checkpoint. I just found that out by accident. I thought I was going to miss it, but it actually gives it to you. At 51%, you can cut between these trees. Just control your speed, otherwise you'll end up in the grass on the other side. And then at 70% and 72%, you can cut both of these corners. You'll go through the wall on the second one. And finally, at 85%, you can cut right just after this wall. Hey guys, real quick, about 75% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you find this info helpful, please consider subscribing. I bring multiple Motorfest videos to you every single day. All right, let's get back to it. The next event is called North Shore Coast. And for this one, you're going to be using the EB110 or anodized edition. Again, at 10%, it is faster to gutter this turn than to reset. At 18%, it is also faster to gutter this turn than to reset. Of course, I did miss it in this clip. At 27%, this right-hander, it's very important to grab the gutter, otherwise you are for sure going to go into the grass on the left side. At 29%, you can cut to the left across this grass. At 44%, you can cut across the grass on the right. At 61%, it helps you keep up your speed if you take this small corner cut. At 85%, you'll want to cut across the left side hill and then use NOS in the air. And finally, at 95%, you can cut across to the right to avoid hitting that wall. All right, the next event is called South Coast using the F40. At 22%, you'll perform the Simgii skip. At 33%, you'll cut the corner on the right. At 37%, you're going to do the exact same thing, just cut the corner on the right. At 41%, you'll cut the corner on the left. Your visual cue here is this airplane. You're going to go between it and this tree right here. And finally, at 61%, you're going to cut to the right through these trees. This one is extremely tough, so skip it like I did in this clip if it's giving you trouble, and just cut the next corner. All right, the last event is called Honolulu City, and for this one, you're using the Countach. At 5%, you're going to cut the corner to the right. At 12%, you'll want to use a lot of air NOS for these jumps. This gives you a ton of speed for this next straight. At 28%, it's the same here. Use lots of NOS in the air. Just make sure you're conserving it for these jumps. At 42%, definitely take this sidewalk route under the building. It's a cleaner line through this corner. At 49%, cut across the grass and reset at the checkpoint. At 55%, cut the grass on the left this time. And at 91%, cut the grass on the right and head up the hill. All right, moving over to the Feats. First up is the slalom. Scoring is better if you go backwards on this one. Just make sure you're using a score breaker car with the skilled affix completely maxed out. Again, like I said, Alpha GP is the fastest, but go with whatever you have parts for. For the escape, it is super tricky to do it right. The best way to do it is to fly a plane downward towards the escape and then swoop up after hitting it. Once you're over the highway, just switch your car into a hypercar and follow this highway as far as you can. If you don't know how to switch your car, you first need to set which car is your favorite in your garage. Go to the car you want to use and press Y if you're on an Xbox controller, triangle if you're on a PlayStation controller, and that will set that car to your ground vehicle. Then when you're ready to switch, you click the right stick down and press X or square, whichever console you're on, and that should switch you into your ground vehicle. So once you start the escape in the plane, you fly up just a little bit, get over the highway, and switch into a hypercar. I'll let my full run play out for you so you can see this path. Enjoy. And finally, the low altitude. This one is also much easier if you go backwards. You don't need a score breaker set to get a ton of points on this one. You just need to follow the path that I'm showing you here. And if you want to get even more points, you can try to do the whole thing upside down. By doing so, you're going to increase your points multiplier. And if you've never done these before, the goal is to fly as close to the ground as possible. The closer you are, the more points you'll get. All right, enjoy. All right, here are my final scores. Again, if you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to send me a DM. I read every single message that comes my way on Instagram, Twitter, or Discord. If you message me in-game or in Ubisoft, I probably won't see it. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helps. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.